All right, so I am currently working on a commercial property. Okay, so I reached out to this guy. He's an older gentleman and he's looking to sell this property. So the other day I went and I took a look at it with my mentor because I'm gonna have him buy it. So that way he's gonna kind of show me the ropes of it and we're gonna work on it together. So I really want to break down what the numbers of this are gonna look like because we didn't make him an offer yet because they have somebody in there. They have a tenant who's occupying it, and they have an option to buy at the end of their lease, and their lease expires in December. However, this lease isn't technically legal. They kind of extended it for 2 years. So what they did is they sent them an eviction notice to leave the property by November 1st. However, they have an option to buy. So by November 1st, they're going to have that option to buy. So we're going to kind of have to wait and see if they do come up with the money. I don't really think they will. So this is where we're going to be able to move in. Now, he's owned this property for a very long time. It's an event center. It's like a wedding center and part of it. And then there's a couple other tenants in there. You have there's like a beauty shop, a bunch of beauty shops. There's like a hair salon and then a nail salon. So the thing about him is he's paying the expenses. So he doesn't have them at triple net. Now, triple net is when the tenants pay for the expenses. So they pay rent. It'll be a little bit of a lower rent because they're going to be paying the expenses. They're going to be paying the water bill, the utility bills. That's what triple net is. So he's paying the expenses out of his pocket and he has low rents. And the way he puts it is, he's not really trying to make money. He's an older gentleman, so money isn't that big of an issue. Now, it's the income on it is a lot lower than what it used to be because he has somebody else running it compared to when he used to be running it. So at its peak, he had a gross income of $128,000. All right. Now he was spending about $28,000 in expenses. So the net operating income is $100,000. Now this is where we're gonna get that offer. So if you do $100,000 divided by the cap rate at 0.08, you get 1.25 million. Now this was appraised for 2.2 million, so that's about $1 million below the appraised value. So the way that we were trying to get this at a discount, and since the rent is super low and they're not triple net leases and the leases are coming up to an end, it's going to give us an opportunity to get in there at a discount. And then what my mentor is going to do once he buys it is after their lease expires, he's gonna put in new tenants and get them on a triple net lease, so that way he doesn't have to worry about the expenses. So we're gonna structure this as a seller finance deal, meaning instead of paying for it all up front, instead of paying $1.25 million up front in cash, we're gonna structure it where there's gonna be a down payment, and then they're gonna sign over the deed to us. So he's gonna own that property. All right, now we're going to be paying monthly payments to them. So the reason why this is beneficial for both parties is, number one, on the buying side, you don't have to put down $1.25 million on a property. Now the benefit of the seller is they don't have to pay as much of capital gains tax. So when they sell a property for that much money and it's all cash, they're going to lose a lot of it to taxes, to capital gain taxes. So this is a little bit of a loophole around it to where they don't have to pay as much in taxes. It's kind of spreading it out over the span of a couple of years. So that's how we're going to try and set it up. Now, right now, I'm not assigning this contract. I'm not getting under contract. I'm just helping this buyer out, and he's kind of showing me the ropes of commercial. However, if I were to be getting this under contract, the way that we would make that work is, let's say there's a $50,000 down payment. Okay. Now, what I could do is, we have the seller finance terms and it's a $50,000 down payment. So I could then bring that to a buyer and say, okay, I can give you this property. It's a $100,000 down payment. And then these are the seller finance terms. So I will take that $50,000 of profit. Now that's in an ideal world. That's if everything works out and there's a lot of steps that go in between that. So once you get a commercial property under contract, there's a couple things that you have to do. You have to get it appraised. You have to get it surveyed. You also have to get the environmental state something. They have to come out there and inspect it. So there's a couple things that you have to do. And then it's a little bit more complicated to find a buyer because they're a little bit more hidden. You're not going to just find these guys on Facebook. So for this, I'm really trying to build a network, because with a network is key for commercial real estate. If you do not have a strong network, then you're not going to make any money. So the way I'm basing this whole business is just sales and networking. That's the two key components that's going to make me money. Sales and networking. They go hand in hand. So if I can build a network full of strong cash buyers, full of commercial investors, I'll be able to find these properties, get them at a discount, get them under contract, and it's going to be like bread and butter because nobody else is doing this. There's not a lot of people who are out here doing wholesaling in commercial real estate. Now, the other thing to note is if I do come across a commercial property, and let's say it's a couple million, most of the time they're going to require an earnest money deposit. And that's going to be anywhere from $25,000 to $50,000. So I don't have any of that money. So I reached out to that buyer and I was talking to him about it, kind of figuring out where, I'm trying to like map out where I'm going to be able to do and like what's going to happen if that comes up. And I made an agreement with him where if something like that comes up where I have to put down a $50,000 earnest money deposit, which is refundable after the property sells, he's willing to put that money down for me and I'll share some of the profit with him. So you have to think outside the box. You can't just keep thinking in specific tiny little real estate, single family homes. Okay, it's a little bit more simple, but your profits are going to be smaller. You have to think big, think outside the box. There's a lot more steps that come with this, but if you know that it's possible, if you trust in yourself and you just do the right things, it's going to work. And I'm telling you, the way that this works is you cannot do it alone. It is not physically possible to get started into commercial real estate by doing it alone. You need somebody out there who's showing you the ropes. You need people who you can show the deal to. You need to be able to market the deal. You have to work on that network. So I'm starting from ground zero and I'm building up that network. And the few people that I do know, I know that they have connections with other different people. So it's just about utilizing your network, knowing that, okay, this person, I have a connection with him and he has a connection with about 50 other people. So there's my access point. So you have to think about it that way. And this goes for just about anything in real estate. You got to build your network because your network is key. I mean, I found this guy, this mentor of mine who's showing me everything. I cold called him. I literally cold called him. I cold called him about one of his properties, and he's like, "No, I'm not looking to sell." And then we just started talking, and next thing you know, we're working together now. So it's random. You never know how it's gonna happen, but when it does happen, you have to be able to jump on it and spot opportunities and take advantage of them.